Donald Trump is in serious, serious trouble with American voters. And believe it or not, I'm not talking about in the terms of tariffs. I'm not talking about in terms of inflation. I'm not even talking about with the Epstein files. There is another issue, and it's been Donald Trump's biggest issue since he burst onto the political scene, that he no longer comes even close to getting a support of the majority of the public on it. And that, of course, is the issue of immigration. On every other issue across the board, basically since like April, Donald Trump has had an underwater approval rating. On the issue of immigration, he has typically remained above water by sometimes just 1 or 2 points, or he's been underwater about 1 or 2 points. So roughly on the issue of immigration throughout this administration, as everything else fell apart and the public hated his responses, at least on immigration, he kind of stayed even, right? 50-50. That 50-50 is long gone, according to a Gallup poll released late last week. And a conservative pollster by the name of Mike Madrid, who happens to be one of the co-founders of the Lincoln Project, he seized on this and explained in a rather brilliant op-ed, by the way, that this could spell certain doom for Donald Trump. This is the biggest red flag, right? Forget the tariffs, forget Epstein. The issue of immigration, where the public, for the first time in decades, long before Trump, the public has flipped on the issue because Trump overplayed his hand. Because Trump went too hard getting these people out, weaponizing ICE, deploying military on our own streets. And suddenly that was enough to make the public realize, you know what? F this. I am not okay with this. Let them come in. Let me read you what Mike Madrid wrote. Back in January, I warned that on the immigration debate, there would be no winner, but there would be a loser. And the loser would inevitably be whichever side overreached first. Yesterday's Gallup polling data confirms this prediction with crystalline clarity. Donald Trump and the Republicans have overreached, and they're paying a very steep price. The numbers are damning for the administration. The percentage of Americans wanting less immigration has dropped by nearly half this year to 30%, with 79% now saying immigration benefits the U.S. These numbers, he said, are jaw-dropping. So they had a majority of people in this country saying, we don't want any more people. Get them out, keep them out, don't let them in. And now only 30% of the public, less than a third, say keep them out. Folks, we haven't seen a shift like that through the entire 21 years I have been working in progressive media. This is a first. I have never come close to seeing the numbers this low or this high with regard to, yes, immigrants help the economy. But he continues, the polling data confirms what should have been obvious to any seasoned political observer. Americans reached a nuanced position on immigration that the Trump administration completely misread. They wanted border security and got it, but they never signed up for the militarization of American communities and the targeting of working families. There was never a mandate for federal government overreach, the destruction of constitutional rights, and the usurpation of due process. While 31% of Republicans still don't believe ICE's actions are sufficient and want more aggressive enforcement, the 49% of Republicans who view current actions as appropriate represent a critical vulnerability. This split suggests that the Trump administration's continued reliance on its MAGA base, which demands 31%, could drive his support levels dangerously lower among both mainstream Republicans and Hispanic voters. Both constituencies are critical, not just to Trump's coalition, but to Republican survival in the upcoming midterms. Hispanic voters, with Trump's dismal 21% approval rating on immigration, represent a growing electoral force that Republicans can ill afford to alienate further. In other words, most Republicans hate your immigration policy. Most Republicans are not happy with your immigration policy. Now, of course, in the general public, it's the vast majority. But when you can't even hit 50% of your own party supporting what you did, I don't think I've ever seen anyone, any party as screwed as Trump and the Republicans are right now. Because they're not going to stop. They're going to keep doing this because it's what the racists inside this administration want. So these numbers are as good as they will ever be for this administration. They will only get worse from this point forward, and they will pay a massive price in next year's midterm elections. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.